Welcome to another episode of OutRageous HR. I'm Catherine Bourdreaux, your host today, one of our account executives over here at OutSolve, and joining me is Hector Peguero, one of our consultants. Thanks for joining us, Hector.
Thank you for having me, Catherine. I'm very excited to be here.
And today we're going to talk all about the VETS-4212 reporting. Hector, what is your favorite thing about your job?
Well, my favorite thing about my job is, being there for our clients. We're kind of an extension of the HR department, and for me, from my side, to be here to guide them through this very difficult reports that they have to do each year, it's very gratifying. So I like being of help to them.
All right, let's get into the basics. Can you break down what the VETS-4212 reporting is?
So yes, I can. So the VETS-4212 reporting, it's a tool created by the U.S. Department of Labor to track the hiring of protected veterans.
Okay. And so who all is required to file this report? What's the threshold that a company would have to meet to be able to meet that?
Yeah, great question. Yeah. So regardless of the size of your company or how many employees you have, any federal contractor or subcontractor that has a contract over $150,000 or more is required to file for VETS-4212 reporting.
I think that's a good distinction to make too, because a lot of these reports that are mandated have an employee threshold. And so sometimes VETS-4212 can get lost in the shuffle because there's no employee threshold.
Correct, yes, which can be one of the things that tricky about the report, yes, because a lot of the other reports, it has to do with the size of the company or the employees that you have. For veterans, it's just about the contracts.
So what kind of data is used to submit in these reports?
So for this report, we need a total number of employees, including their job categories or EEOs, also the protected veteran status. We need also any new hires in the last 12 months. And this is all, again, broken down by EEO category and job title.
And how do we get that veteran status? Is that voluntary? Is it a survey?
Yes. So mainly it's a voluntary. They don't have to self-ID if they're a protected veteran. But a lot of companies, what they do is that they resurvey their workforce every year. A lot of times veterans don't know if they are considered a protected veteran. So that's why it's important that at least the requirement is every 5 years that companies do resurvey their workforce because, a lot of it has to do with education. So they may not know when they first got hired that they are a protected veteran, but they might learn that later on.
Nice. And what is the typical filing window for this report deadline? I know some of the reports fluctuate in their deadline, but in my experience, VETS has been the most consistent with the deadline.
Yes. So VETS, it's pretty much so far, it's been a lot of changes this year, but so far the deadline starts on August 1st and ends on September 30th.
So now to the question on everyone's minds, I'm sure. What is the cost of non-compliance?
Well, yeah, there's different things that can happen when not filing this report. So, one of them is putting yourself at risk of being audited, also losing any current or any future federal contracts that you may, an organization may get. Also, you can damage your company's reputation.
And I know that you are our subject matter expert here on this report. So how have you found any filing mistakes? Are there a lot of common mistakes that companies make in either submitting their data or in this filing?
Yes, there is definitely. So one of the main issues will be late filing, also submitting the incorrect data or incomplete data. So those are very, very, very common mistakes when doing this report.
Let's talk about the bigger picture. Why should companies actively hire veterans?
Okay. Well, yes, there's definitely a lot of benefits in hiring protected veterans. They bring a lot to the table, a lot of skills that they bring from the military. We have about 200,000 service members that transition to the civilian workforce. So imagine having that amazing pool of candidates apply to your job openings. Veterans have a lot of qualities that successful business owners have. They're good under pressure. They are great at teamwork. They bring a lot of technical skills as well. So, it's a lot of things that, will help your organization just by attracting qualified candidates.
So do you have any real-world examples or stats of these unique skills that veterans bring to the table?
Yeah. Vets bring a lot of skills that are sometimes overlooked in the civilian sector. E4 and above bring leadership skills that the military has recognized by promoting the individual to leadership roles. Hiring veterans offers significant benefits to employers, including a strong work ethic, leadership skills, and adaptability honed through military service. Veterans also bring a diverse perspective experience in high-pressure situations and a commitment to teamwork, making them valuable assets to your organization.
So what are some practical strategies that companies can use to actually show that they are taking an initiative and hiring veterans?
Yeah. So, partnering with organizations that work with protected veterans, it's good because, these organizations are already working with protected veterans and they can send you qualified candidates. Teaching your hiring managers how to understand military experience when they're doing their, for the interviews.
I have a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
How much does education play into your role as a consultant? Is that something that you and your clients talk through a little bit about how they can educate their hiring department or anything with talent acquisition on how to educate their employees?
Yeah, that's something that comes into conversation a lot with our clients. Training is very crucial, especially for hiring managers, to eliminate that kind of bias when it comes to certain individuals. In this case, for protected veterans, they not necessarily understand how the military's world works, mm-hmm. and how these experiences and skills that they bring from the military will necessarily transition into their organization. Having a mentorship program, it's also very good. To have a new hire be partnered with another veteran that's already working in your company, to help them navigate the company culture, and also even just help them out with their role.
So Hector, any final advice for those out there preparing to file the VETS-4212 report this year?
Yeah, there's definitely some advice to be giving. And I think this is the most crucial, important one. Gather your data early. Double check your veteran status designations. And again, don't wait until September 30. Deadline starts August 1st. So prepare your data early.
Great. And of course, OutSolve can help prepare and file those reports by that deadline on your behalf.
We have plenty of resources on our website, so go to outsolve.com.
That's all for this edition of OutRageous HR. We'll see you next time.